welcome to another GB PRA interview. I'm Christian, I'm joined today by Tim. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Christian, how are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. I've dried up a bit now.
Yes, indeed. I think I'm going to be soggy for days.
For our viewers' benefit, we're in the Welsh Mountains, the Cambrian Mountains, and we're here for another training day. We've got a match tomorrow, but the weather is just dreadful. It's absolutely blowing a gale, isn't it?
It's pretty biblical, yeah.
yeah. Have you haven't even dried off your kit yet, have you?
No, it's gone in the car wet, and we'll get a chance to dry it off tonight, hopefully, and get everything squared away. But it's certainly going to be challenging conditions for the shoot tomorrow. So test for the best, I think, definitely.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the GBPRA later on, Tim, because for people who don't know, Tim is our secretary. We've been sort of with the GBPRA since it started.
Inception, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the GBPRA in a moment, though. I'd like to talk first of all, Tim, about you as a shooter and a competitor, because you are a shooter, you are a competitor. This is how you got into it.
Definitely.
Do you want to talk us a little bit through your shooting background?
Yeah, I started like most people. So I grew up in Devon. I started with shotgun shooting, rabbits, pheasants. And then I had a mate who was a gamekeeper who obviously had firearms for his job. We used to go out lamping in the evening and those kind of things, and really enjoyed it. And basically, when I was old enough, got myself a 2.2, as a lot of guys progress. 2.2, bit of rabbiting, there's a bit of fox control to be done. So started then with the sensible rifles, and that was it for several years actually. Went off to university. Came back from London and had my firearms, which I was barely using, and looked up local clubs actually to see if there was some people doing longer range stuff. It's all over YouTube, but finding a way in, and particularly with steel plate and target shooting in the kind of conditions that we're lucky enough to do, there wasn't a lot of it around. So I joined my local club and military ranges, shooting 200, 300, 600 sometimes. Went to Bisley, really enjoyed that, but was still kind of missing that really, the kind of satisfaction you get from that ding when you're shooting the targets. It's something that you don't get that from paper or electronic. You only get it from shooting steel. And I started doing that, looked around and found that the Roundhouse down on Bodmin Moor, and just started turning up to those events. And I would say some people will be quite intimidated by turning up to a shoot where a lot of guys know exactly what they're doing and have good kit. But I think the key is, don't be intimidated, turn up and have a go. You can turn up with a factory rifle and do, some of the guys who are shooting in factory class this year are posting better scores than, some of the top end custom rifles costing, as much as your house kind of thing. So, that's how I got into it, and shoot as regularly as the family life will allow me to, really. Absolutely.
And it is true what you say. That's something that precision rifle shooters say quite often. They like to hear that feedback down range. There's something special about sending a bullet down, 900 metres.
Yep, and getting that nice resounding.
Waiting a few seconds for it to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's really, it's really enjoyable, and as I say, it just gives you something else that paper and electronic don't do. There's a time and a place for it, and I enjoy going and shooting paper and electronics at Bisley when I'm able to. But having that ability to get instant feedback, particularly when you're doing positional shooting as well, is really important. So it's certainly my go-to if I've got time off to go and shoot.
And just quickly there, you mentioned about coming into the sport new, and I certainly just turned up to a match. I haven't done any training or anything like that, but and I guess if you know your rifle, you know your way around your equipment, you've got your your dope out to a certain distance, and there's nothing to stop you turning up to a match. But obviously we offer the training courses that like we're running today.
Absolutely. I think as a kind of prerequisites, you have an accurate enough rifle, which 1 minute of angle or less. Most of the positional stages that we'll run in our comps, if you've got a minute of angle rifle, it doesn't need to shoot half an inch at 100 yards, and an inch at 100 yards is fine. What's going to make you miss will be the wind or the position. So an adequately accurate rifle, a repeatable scope, and knowing your muzzle velocity and your bullets, and that really is it. You can. So this rifle actually, it's a top end rifle. It's got a top end scope on it. But prior to today, I'd zeroed it at 100 yards. I'd never shot it past 100 yards. So turn up, pop it into the computer. You've got your, I know what speed the bullets are doing. I've checked that on a chronograph. And within 0.1 of a mil, it hits everything out to 800 plus meters, and that's not something specific to this rifle. Those are the kind of prerequisites of what you need to know, and then you could just step on and crack on. But as you say, the best way to do it, for me, if I was going to come into the sport again, would be to turn up on one of the training days. Absolutely pressure-free environment. There's no time constraints. The field is your, or the range is your playground to all intents and purposes, and you can go on and engage targets stepwise and see if there is any differences between your anticipated bullet drop and what's actually happening in reality. And once you make notes of that, you can model it back and come up with perfect firing solutions going forward. So yeah, the training days offer, I think, inexperienced or new shooters an opportunity to, one, get familiar with their kit, and two, to start building a knowledge of that ballistic profile so that you can make engagements at distance.
And this year we'll have our PR1, PR2 and PR3 training and practice days. PR1 being run down at Bisley. Alex White, seasoned precision rifle shooter. Very
accomplished. Yeah, exactly.
Shoots for Team AI as well, Team Accuracy International. He'll be running the PR1 training days for new entrants into the sport. People who are not so familiar with their rifle. Then you've got the PR2 training courses, which again Alex will be doing, but that'll be more about positional shooting, transitional shooting. And then PR3, which will be up in the Highlands of Scotland.
That's going to get interesting.
That's going to be high angle, severe angle shooting. Really in some extreme landscapes, extreme conditions. Great. What about your rig then? What do you shoot at a match? Do you want to introduce us to this rifle, Tim?
Yeah, so and this one is not a new rifle. It's relatively new to me. I've had it in the cabinet for 4 or 5 months, something like that. But with winter and a young baby, the opportunity to shoot hasn't really been there other than 100 meters. But yeah, both this rifle and my other rifle, which was my main comp rifle for the last year, are AIs. I've got an AT in the car, and this is the AXMC. AI, they make a phenomenal bit of kit. Obviously, it's used by military forces the world over, and for me, the main benefits, in fact the only reason I went on to the AI platform at all, was the quick change barrel. So 1 4mm hex, and you can change out the barrel and run it in whatever caliber you like. And this one will go 338, I'll run 338, 308, 6.5, which is the barrel it's wearing now. But for me, it was not having to send a rifle off to a gunsmith for 4 months, and being without a rifle for that amount of time. I can buy a new barrel off the shelf and slot it in. I can change calibers, and it's a couple of minute job really. And again, talking ballistics, as long as you know what the difference in the offset is, because the barrels are different weights and the calibers obviously shoot different weight bullets. As long as I know what my offset is, it's pretty repeatable. I can put the 338 barrel on that now. I know the difference between the 6.5 and the 338, so I can just dial that in and carry on shooting. So they are, they're fantastic bits of kit, but by all means not the only type of rifle out there, and not what you need, as I say, necessarily to shoot competitively. A lot of guys will shoot a lot better than I will, due to kind of lack of practice and so forth. With standard factory Bagaras. Tikka, Tom Rice with his Tikka is a great example. He's a phenomenal shooter with a factory product.
And sitting third on the overall leaderboard. So you've got Josh in first place as an open shooter. Jack Crawford in second place as military law enforcement division, and then Tom, who's certainly up there. He's doing amazingly well, and shooter.
Yeah, he's doing really well, and I think that's a really useful point to tease out, is that you don't need to have this or a setup that costs a prohibitively high amount of money. You can start and you can compete really well. Lawrence is another example, competing fantastically well with a factory product, which is you're going to use, you're going to enjoy it, and then you can figure out whether you want to go with something a little bit more high end. But they'll all do the same job.
Yeah, no, it's a sexy rig. I do like an Acris International.
She's a beautiful thing. Yeah, certainly.
Excellent. So, Secretary of the GBPRA, we sort of came together, didn't we? The first time we really met.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've not met at all. Yeah.
We did actually shoot a match in conditions similar to this in October in the Precision Rifle League.
Yeah.
We didn't really know each other. I think we sort of caught each other's eye and said hello or something that day.
Yeah.
But then, we came together in January to try and get the GBPRA running, posting. Taking scores from precision rifle matches for IPRF World Championship qualification matches. Why? Do you want to just explain a little bit about why you got into the GBPRA?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that attracted me is that is really kind of just the continuity of the sport. I mean, I had been lucky enough to enjoy precision rifle, and I think being involved in any element, whether it be at a top level, finding and identifying the best shooters to go on and represent GB, or at a grassroots level. And I think that was something that unified kind of all of us on the group, actually, was that we wanted to just improve the sport and accessibility to the sport. And it was a good group of people on the committee. Some people I knew more than others, and we came together to try and really promote precision rifle shooting in the UK, and as I say, select ultimately a team to represent GB at the World Championships. And I think with the quality of shooters that we've got, I think we can do ourselves justice. I think
so too. I mean, what the International Precision Rifle Federation are trying to do with setting up the World Championships, obviously the first one will be this year, Hungary, August 2022. That really excited me. That vision to want to do something on such a global scale. I think there's 25, 26 countries now that are part of the IPRF. That's what got me excited in joining the GBPRA and trying to make that real. Yeah. But like you say, it's so much more than that. It's locally, domestically. It's about supporting the sport here as well. It's
kind of it's become a little bit larger than we ever thought it would become. We never thought we'd be hosting our own matches, and there was a hole in the community where a provider was no longer providing that ability. And I think for us to ensure that we were able to identify and select the best shooters to represent GB and to do us proud on the international stage, we felt that we had to kind of step into that void and put on good quality events that would test the shooters. So I think it's certainly developed as probably a slightly different workload than we anticipated at the start, but I think we're all on board with it, and it's really good to give people opportunity.
Fantastic. And the qualification, we had our 4th match on the 5th of December. Tomorrow is our 5th match, and then we have our 6th match on March. In March, sorry. What's your reflections on how the qualification's been going so far? Yeah,
I think matches. Coming from a point where most of us had never run a match before, but we'd experienced lots of courses of fire. I mean, I'd been through lots of courses of fire either at the Roundhouse or up here with the Precision Rifle League. So the matches have gone really well. I mean, booking numbers are great. Our matches are at capacity, and that's fantastic. Everyone's safe. Everyone behaves themselves. We've brought a lot of the community who. There may have been rifts in the community. I think we've brought a lot of that back together, and that's been, for me, probably one of the biggest highlights actually of what we've done over the last 9 months or whatever is to bring all factions of the community to the table, and now they all turn up and all shoot our events, which is fantastic. That really, I think, is the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah, and likewise, a lot of the guys that started out shooting the GBPRA events are going over to the RSUK events, and I'd certainly like going up to the Gardeners and shooting the Big Sis and Little Sis events. We're all, as a community, we're sort of getting out there. And
I think so, and I think it's absolutely what precision rifle needs, particularly in the UK, where we have only very limited venues that we can use. Having an ability for the community to come together, for us to go up north as a group and for them to come down here, we need that in order to be able to kind of demonstrate that we're kind of selecting people appropriately, and everyone wants to test themselves against the best. And I think that's key. And I think if we can continue on the trajectory we're on, I'm really hopeful for the future of precision rifling.
Yeah, fantastic. So am I. Okay, so what's your favourite match day snack?
Match day snack. Oh, well, I've just devoured a couple of pork pies on a training day, so they never go amiss.
Can't beat the pork pie.
But yeah, I mean, if I was thinking from a purely performance point of view, something that's going to keep your energy up, lightweight to carry if you're going to be in the field eating kind of en route to a different stage. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of those pork pies.
Just stick with the pork pie.
I'm going to stick with the pork pies. Yeah, absolutely.
And let's say you're on your way to a match, you're an hour up the road, you've realised you've suddenly forgotten something, not to do with your rifle, your bolts there, you're happy with that, but what piece of gear, match day gear, would you turn around to go back and get?
Match day gear. Oh, that's a difficult one. Recently, actually, it's become the moderator. I find a lot of the guys obviously will shoot with muzzle brakes, which is fine, and I used to shoot a lot with a brake as well, and I will still do on occasion. For me personally, if I was to leave the mod at home, I'd be a little bit sad, because for me, it takes out a little bit of that concussion that you get from the brakes. It's not going to, and I think that just for me helps my enjoyment of the day. But yeah, I can't think of anything else non-gun related that I would turn around and go back for. I mean, the mobile phone, if I was out of contact for the wife for a couple of days, she might get a bit twitchy. But no, I'm
well,
pretty,
with a newborn at home, then that's
yeah, exactly. Just in case of emergencies, I need to be contactable. But yeah, no, that's the moderator for me is a key one really to my enjoyment of the day as much as anything. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, look, thanks for talking with us today and introducing yourself to the viewers. Are we going to go back outside and get wet, or do you think we'll stay in here next to the fire?
Well, I think it's we better check on everyone, make sure everyone's all right. But I mean, it's been interesting weather today, and it's going to be interesting tomorrow, and it's certainly going to challenge people and kit tomorrow. So I'm very much looking forward to it and seeing how everyone goes tomorrow.
Should be a good match, shouldn't it? Yeah,
it should be. Let's hope so.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
Brilliant. Thank you, Christian.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.